And she goes, oh, I think the doctor wanted to be the one to tell you this, but we had an unexpected situation in your surgery. I'm like, what? She goes, you suffered an internal decapitation, your head detached from your body.
Too naughty or too nice? You decide with the Too Nice, Too Naughty podcast.
Okay, welcome to Too Naughty, Too Nice. As you know, I'm Santa Corky, and this is my co-host.
Co-heart.
Co-heart in crime. Yeah, Lindsay Taylor, the famous author, actor, fashionaire,
Singer.
That was the best intro I've ever had. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, and there's my dog Maisie.
And this is Auntie Colette. Oh my gosh.
Hi, guys.
So Auntie Colette, tell us just a little bit. No, tell us about how you got started on social media. Where were you before that, and how you got started on social media? And let's do this. How many followers do you have on TikTok?
I have 2.2 million. I'm about to hit 2.3.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yep. So I'm a realtor in my real life, and I was at a Tom Ferry convention. He's a large not TikTok. Everything's TikTok now, huh? He's a large real estate mogul, coach, and a friend of mine. And he, in 2019, told us all to download TikTok. Well, I only knew TikTok as that really annoying app that my niece Ella would be doing dance moves on all day long and showing me, and so I live in rural Nevada in between Reno and Salt Lake, and TikTok hadn't reached adults here yet, but I did what Tom said. I downloaded it with no intention of ever using it. And my name, when I very first started, was Realtor Chick. And then I ended up getting cancer a few months later. And so I ended up having to fly to Ohio to get my surgery. It was a very rare, aggressive sarcoma in my neck. And it was right in the beginning of the pandemic, like smack dab in the beginning. It was so surreal. I was one of only 32% of the patients at the James Cancer Institute to even be able to get my cancer surgery done. And so I flew over there on a plane with two other people on a huge flight. It was so weird. And I had to be there for a week before my surgery, before my husband could join me. So I was alone and scared in a big city. And I'm a small town girl, so I was scared. And I just got on TikTok and watched people like Scott D. Henry. You know, he was one of my first favorites. Mm-hmm. And just watch people for entertainment to kind of help me pass the time and get my mind off the scary stuff ahead. And then I had my surgery and came home. And about 2 years before my cancer surgery, I had the unthinkable happen. I had suffered an internal decapitation due to a failed fusion that a doctor had covered up for 3 years. And I had no bone left around my 6 screws. And I always said it was unbearable, ungodly. Huh?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Lindsay, you probably haven't seen the pictures.
Have you? No, nor have I heard
her head
words.
Was off her body.
Yeah, literally. My head attached. Yeah.
Internal decapitation.
Yeah. Yes. I'm in a very elite club, a very small club, but you don't want to be a part of that one. And honestly, by the grace of God, it's one of my biggest testimonies is I'm a little walking, talking miracle because it actually happened on the operating table. The doctor, because they had to do my surgery in two parts. It was such a big surgery. I had to have my C3, 4, 5, 6, 7, T1, and T2 fused front and back. And my 5, 6, 7, there was no bone left. And there was just a little bitty bit at the very bottom of that fusion that was still there. That was all that was holding my head on. And when they did the surgeries, they did the posterior. I know in the first surgery, and that was a 10-hour surgery. And then they had to wait 2 days to do the front part. And during the posterior one is when my head detached from my body. And I came out of surgery, and I worked in medicine for 12 years. So I know certain things to watch for, but I was Oh, it's such a hard story to tell, but I had 6 screws that were floating, hitting random open nerves in my neck. It was very similar. We found this out the other night because I couldn't sleep. It was 2 in the morning, so I always put my shows on or whatever. And we were watching a show about Jesus and the crucifixion and how he was actually crucified through his wrist, and it was like electric lightning because of the nerves. And that's why they say excruciating, which is what I would always say. The pain was excruciating and ungodly. Well, the 6 screws were hitting nerves just like what was happening to Yahweh, and they would float. And I lived that way for 2 months. I almost unalived myself a month into it. It was ungodly. It was horrible, horrible, horrible. Anyways, so when they fused me in the first surgery, they didn't realize it, but they left the hardware in for 2 days, but they fused me into a position where it was hitting my nerves. And so I couldn't escape it. It was horrible. I came out just screaming. My front 2 teeth split from the pain for 10 hours. I guess I bit down on the intubation tube. So my 2 front veneers split. But anyways, when they went in, well, let me back up. I was in my hospital bed and I felt fluid in my ears, which after spinal surgery, you don't want. That means you've got a spinal cord issue.
Right.
So I had my husband call for the nurse, but they had me so heavily medicated because of that fusion situation. I said, I think we have an issue with my spinal cord. She goes, no, that's blood. And I'm like, from what? You worked on why? And she goes, oh, I think the doctor wanted to be the one to tell you this, but we had an unexpected situation in your surgery. I'm like, what? She goes, you suffered an internal decapitation, your head detached from your body. And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, those are from the halos. They had to screw a halo into your head. And I'm like, oh my God. And so the doctor came in and he's a friend of mine at this point, and I worked in medicine long enough. I said, are you telling me my head came off? He said, yep, clean off. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. And then 2 days later, they did my front part of my surgery. And he said that when he opened up my neck, my 6 screws and my plate just fell out into his hand. There was no bone left around my screws. He said it looked like a moth had devoured my entire spine.
Oh.
Yeah, but he made a very good mention. He said, that wasn't part of the plan. We weren't expecting your head to detach. He said, but
No.
do you understand? What's that? Yeah, no, that's not something you're planning on. But he said, do you understand?
Even
I know, right?
fathomable.
Isn't that
Insane. And I've
so
crazy. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my whole entire life.
I still
And look
some
at
days can't believe it.
heck, and it's working, and you're okay.
Yeah.
This is.
I
And I
know.
actually have range of motion, which he said he can't even explain. He goes, Colette, you've got to be one of God's favorites because you should not be alive, let alone walking, let alone being able to even move your head the way that I've got you fused. Yeah. But he said, he waited to tell me this until like after my 2 weeks because I had to stay in the ICU for 2 weeks. He said, I didn't want to tell you right afterwards because you were still in a lot of pain, but I need you to understand just how huge of a miracle that was that happened on the operating table. 70% of patients that have an internal decapitation, it is so rare that most doctors in their entire career will never even meet a patient that's had it happen, but 70% of patients that have this die instantly. Out of the 30 that do get to medical treatment, only 15% of those survive.
Wow.
It's bad. But he said, here's what I didn't want to tell you, but now I feel like you're in a place I can. He said, do you understand what a miracle it is that this happened here on the operating table? Because I live in Elko, Nevada, which is, I think, 10 hours from San Francisco. I can't remember now, but it's a long drive. And a lot of the rural Nevada area between here and Reno and then San Francisco, you don't have cell service. It's very remote. He said, if you would have sneezed, turned your head wrong, coughed wrong, God forbid you would have gotten into a fender bender, you could have suffered this internal decapitation and died right in front of your husband. He goes, in fact, I don't know how that didn't happen.
Wow.
Yeah, that really put it into perspective that
all over
God
my
is
body.
good.
That is a miracle.
Isn't that something else?
I'm mind blown because I didn't know this until Elf Carmen had said, no, Santa, you have to see the pictures. Her head was off. She was, internal decapitation.
I'm going to need those.
You look so normal. I hugged you. at the, and hi, visit, and you're just, yeah, you would never know that. That is
Yeah,
amazing.
most
No,
people don't know until they see the back of my neck.
Oh,
That's where
yeah?
you'll get the really good glimpse at my huge scars. Yeah,
I
I
didn't
have.
Oh,
notice. I saw you last year at Cheer Choice. I got a big hug. I saw you turn around. I didn't even
Yeah.
notice. I didn't even.
Oh, thank you. Because it's my biggest insecurity, my neck. And then I lost my whole left trap to cancer. And so, Macy, go on, babe. Um, it's honestly one of my it is my biggest insecurity. You can see I have my pretty trap here, but this one's gone. And I lost
No.
a lot of my, it feels like a scoop, like an ice cream scoop. You can feel it. And I lost 2 inches of my nerve. And so with that, I lost about 70% function of my left arm. So
Mm,
yeah, it's yucky, but I'm
so tell
alive,
us,
and
tell
that's
us
what got.
here.
Dave.
Oh my
Little scoop
goodness.
of you're
What,
alive.
what's the cancer thing?
It's a very rare aggressive. Sorry, I want to make sure my phone doesn't die on us. It's a very aggressive rare sarcoma. That's technical difficult.
You do it right.
I
Believe.
do. I don't do anything small. I don't. And this one is another miracle story.
I
My
won't
physical
hear it.
therapist was massaging me, and after my surgery, I was in physical therapy for so long, and she felt a really hard knot she hadn't felt before, and we got it scanned, and it ended up being a very rare aggressive sarcoma that really there's only one doctor that understands these sarcomas. um, Salt Lake wanted to put me on chemo. San Francisco wanted to put me on radiation, and everybody just kept telling me, whatever you do, do not have surgery. These things devour muscle and tissue and bone on contact. And when you remove them, they have an 80% regrowth rate, and they come back meaner and worse than ever. And I ended up getting pretty frustrated because I just had all this other bad stuff happen at doctors' hands to me. And so I found this doctor, and he's amazing. He's the best of the best with these. And he said, now I work for doctors, so I know a good doctor when I see one. I emailed him on a Saturday night at 7 o'clock in Elko. He's all the way in Ohio. I think that's 3 hours ahead. So on a Saturday night, I emailed him saying, this is my situation. I'm really stressed out. I'm frustrated. I don't know what to do. He emailed me right back. And I'm like, oh, this guy's good. This guy is good. And I told him, I said, unfortunately, I just can't really afford to fly over there. We just got done in San Francisco, this and that. And he said, no, just send me your scans, and I'll sit down with 15 doctors in a closed door situation, and we'll let you know what we think for free. And I'm like, oh. So he
What?
called me and he said, well, we know what you need, and there's no other option, but you need surgery. And I was so frustrated. I'm like, thank you, sir. I appreciate your time, but no offense,
Yeah.
you're a quack. Everybody told me not to do that. And I said, I was so frustrated. I said, oh, I just want two doctors to agree on something. I've got somebody wanting to do chemo. I've got another doing radiation. And now I've got you wanting surgery. And I said, with all due respect, can just two doctors agree? And he goes, how about 15? Because 15 of us agreed. You have no other option but surgery. And he was right. Had I had gone with any of the other ones, I wouldn't be here today.
Wow.
Yeah, he's an absolute angel. He actually has a very rare leukemia. And he's just Dr. Pollock. He's amazing. Anyways, they got me over there. And when they took out the tumor, it was less than a centimeter away from my neck and all my hardware. And they said, had we even waited 2 weeks, it would have been too late. It would have devoured my bone.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
God is good.
Man, no
Oh,
kidding.
But you wouldn't know I don't have function in my left arm because I'm a little T-Rex. I do this all day. I've learned to kind of adapt, you know?
you're so
And so I got
cute.
onto TikTok to like share my story because we found out, oh, this is what really hurt. We found out later that my original neck surgery, I never needed it in the first place. And the
No,
doctor,
no, don't say that.
The one that caused
yeah,
the internal decapitation.
yeah, yep.
You didn't need
Well,
it.
yeah, I didn't need it. So my whole life. And the other thing that zinged me was when they did the biopsy on the tumor. Um, it can be caused by two things: familial, it's called FAP, basically genetics,
Okay.
or a trauma-induced sarcoma, and that's what mine was. Basically, had I not had all these neck surgeries, I wouldn't fight cancer the rest of my life.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's why I got on TikTok to
Yeah.
teach people get a second and a third opinion. 3 months after my original surgery, my 3-level surgery, I woke up and I couldn't swallow. And I was like, oh, something's wrong. And I worked for a surgeon at the time. my center screw had reversed out into my trachea. The doctor hadn't tightened it.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah.
Oh
I have
my.
literal chills from like head to toe, and I feel like really uncomfortable in a good way. I'm so happy that you made it through all of that, but I'm so sorry that you had to go through all of that. That is a lot.
Oh, it was a lot. I'll send you some videos of what it was like when the 2 months where the
Please.
screws were hitting the nerves. I don't know how I survived that. Even my surgeon in San Francisco, who specializes in failed fusions, he said, Colette, I've never seen anybody go through what you went through. No human should ever experience that. Um,
No.
but I see it now. I was so angry for so long. I was so
Mm-hmm.
hurt, so devastated, but I see it now. I get it now. Because had none of that ever happened to me, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be on TikTok today. I wouldn't be helping people today. And so sometimes you suffer for your own salvation, but then sometimes you have to suffer for the salvations of others. So I guess long and short, I took one for the team. I
Yeah,
don't know.
you did.
But yeah,
Well, the team.
I love you guys. Yeah, no, it was definitely humbling though, because I knew God. Now I can look at it and think, wow, he trusted me enough to go through that and know that I could survive that, because I almost killed myself a month into it. I couldn't take it because it would happen anywhere from 5 to 15 times an hour, and it would either be like electric, ow, 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 like 3 seconds of it, or it would just me covering my eyes, grabbing my neck, and just screaming. And it felt like Freddy Krueger had a hold of my spine and was pulling it to the ceiling, like my neck was in a bear vice. It was horrible. It was ungodly. And so that, and
Hey,
it
my
would
bad.
do,
Land
yeah,
security.
anywhere from 5 to 15 of those 24/7. They'd wake me up in the middle of the night. It was bad, but God trusted me to be strong enough to get through it. So here I am, and that's what got me on TikTok and just wanting to make sure
How
nobody would ever.
how long did it take you to recover to the point where you had mobility and you didn't have as much pain?
Oh, I'd say really where I felt like I was kind of normal, a year, at least a
And
year.
do you still have pain now?
Oh yeah, every day.
Yeah.
And it's how I'm
Yeah.
going to live. Yeah. And for some reason, we've been traveling. We went down and saw you guys at your choice. And then we went to Arizona. The past 2 weeks since coming back, I've been in a lot more pain. So we're actually getting a scan tomorrow to make sure my cancer's not back. So we could
Okay.
use the little prayers because we're doing that
Yeah,
tomorrow morning.
yeah,
Of
yeah.
course. But when you're
You're
in
just
Arizona, you have to call me next time, okay?
Are you in Arizona?
I am.
Oh, no. Next time I'm down there. My in laws live down there. We'll have to
Arizona.
get together.
I would love that, but I will be definitely sending all the white light, love, and healing vibes. And I want good
Thank you.
news, woman. I
Yeah,
want
my
good news.
niece was massaging me, and so you can see when I'm in spasm, see those yucky cords. And
There's
Maisie,
nothing
go,
yucky
go,
about
go.
you. There's nothing yucky there. You're a
Oh,
beautiful
thank you.
human.
No, and the trolls have started to notice that's what hurts my feelings. So you get the bots and the trolls making comments. But
And we
my
just
niece was
yeah,
massaging me. What's that?
and we just thank them for paying our bills.
We do, we do. But my niece was massaging my neck because we were on our pontoon boat, and I have to wear my neck brace when I'm doing anything. Because the way that I am fused, my C2 is the only vertebrae that's not fused. And that's the one, if it slips, you're either instantly dead because it controls your lungs and your breathing. Or if you get medical treatment, even if you can breathe, you'll be quadriplegic for life. And so I have to wear my neck brace a lot, and my C2 is already slipping. So we have to be kind of careful. But she was
Yeah.
massaging my neck after it was hurting. And I was like, wait a second, what is that? And she felt a hard lump. So a little nervous. We're going to get a scan tomorrow and make sure that it's not
Okay.
making
Well,
its revenge.
we're going to know right away. Not the internet. I
Yes.
mean, me and
Oh, yeah.
Selena, because now I'm fully invested. And gee,
You want to
yeah.
hear
and you're
the worst part of the whole thing?
Oh
After
no,
my
there's a
screw
worse
reversed
part.
out. Oh,
There's
yeah.
a worse
Yeah.
part.
how does it get worse? Then
No
go
way.
ahead,
No
carry
way.
on.
Yeah, this is the part that really stings. When my screw reversed out into my trachea, I've worked for doctors for 12 years and I know how they work. When they make a mistake or they screw up, they make more mistakes. There's just something about it. And so when I got to where the surgeon was to get the screw reversed, fixed, I just told him, breathe. And he goes, but you know, a center screw is a doctor's fault. I said, I do, but just breathe. I work in medicine. I'm not going to sue you. Just breathe. Let's not make more mistakes. I came out of that surgery. He was nowhere to be found. I had a ruptured right breast implant. I had bruising on my cheek, my arm, and my thigh. And a few days after my surgery, I started experiencing ulnar nerve pain, which is these two fingers in the bottom part of your arm, like was on fire. I
No.
called him. I said, what is going on? And he goes, oh, your boob, that's mastitis. And I'm like, you get that from breastfeeding. Are you going to tell my 15-year-old this is not mastitis? And then he said, this is carpal tunnel. I'm like, oh, for the love of Pete, this is carpal tunnel. And that's like medicine 101. He dropped me. He dropped me
Oh
in my surgery.
no.
Well, the best part was, I don't think he meant to admit this to me, and he was probably on his medication, his pain medicine, but he said, I don't know if you know this, but I actually had to be rushed out of your operating room into an operating room for myself for emergency hernia repair. Huh. Well, I work for a
No,
surgeon,
you
and our
can't make
specialty
this
is for the.
up. You can't
No,
make this up.
no, you can't. Can you
Are
believe
you
that?
Did you guys catch all
You
that?
need,
Because
you
I
need,
can't.
you need to talk to Lindsay about writing your
Yeah.
book.
I
Oh
really
my
need
God!
somebody to help me write my book. I
Not only
really
is this
do.
a book, but this is like like an Aaron Brockovich of the now times kind of movie. You
Oh,
know?
you shut up that you just said that right now. That's so funny. So we tried like 30 or 40 lawyers, right? He even lied in my notes when we in 2018 when I got all my records and I was so mad because he had covered it up. I went to an ER class.
Oops, we had a little technical difficulty. You're going to be able to hear Auntie Colette, but you're just not going to be able to see her. We're trying to get this all figured out, so stay tuned and listen to her if you would. She's got some amazing content coming up. Okay? Okay. All right. We'll see you at the end.
Plastic surgeon after seeing, you know, and he came in and he saw me in my neck brace. It's only days after my surgery to fix the screw. He goes, and he was pretty irritated because he was in a suit, must have been at a cocktail party and was on call. He goes, what happened here? And I said, a screw revision surgery. He goes, your surgeon dropped you. Kind of like that. I said, well, I know that. And you know that. Could you just chart the living shit out of that? And he did. And in my doctor's notes, he said, ER plastic surgeon concurs this is mastitis. I even had them run a CBC to prove there was no infection. It was white blood cells were clear. It was not. In fact, I have to my MRI tomorrow on my neck. I actually have to get the MRI on my breast tomorrow too because we have to get it removed because it's like rock hard and it hurts so bad. And I have floating silicone in my armpit since that surgery. But yeah,
Must
you don't
know
have an
that.
acute hernia repair that would require you to leave an operating room without a drop, fall, or a catch. And then for me to have all that. So, anyways,
Yeah,
when
no.
I was telling you, when you just said Aaron Brockovich, we called easily 30, maybe 40 lawyers because it was the best case ever. And they all said the same thing. Kiddo, you've got the best case I've ever seen. Because I had
Yeah.
an also mysterious broken screw after that first surgery or that
Mm-hmm.
screw revision. So I insisted on scans to make sure it wasn't going to navigate out. Well, they continued to watch it. He had been watching my screws whittle away my bone from the inside out for 3 years. And I'd been going to him for continued pain and he covered it up. But anyways, one of the attorneys that we met with, he was the closest one to getting us maybe to do it. He was in California, but licensed here. And he worked on the team from Aaron Brockovich. I was like, oh, that's funny you said that. Yeah. But
With
that's
the
what I got on
Well,
TikTok to teach people. Get a second, get a third opinion, and
yeah.
know your state's laws. Because
Yeah.
in Nevada, the med mal cap is 350,000. No lawyer will take it. They all said the same thing. Kid, you have the best case I've ever seen. This is pure cut negligence, malpractice. But unfortunately, we just can't take it for 350,000. Each of them said it cost them around 200,000 just to put on the case. And in Nevada, there's only about an 8% chance of winning. So
wow.
that's what got me on TikTok.
Wow.
I know.
That's
I
my
know.
intro.
Yeah. How you
Gee.
doing?
Great. I have never been better in my whole entire life. I'm so blessed. I'm so
I'm whining
lucky.
about my little shoulder surgery I just had not too
I
long
will never
ago.
complain about anything ever again.
Oh, I
Ever.
love
I'm
it.
going to be
That's
afraid
one thing.
to hug you. I'm going to be afraid to
Oh,
hug you because she's going to
I
break.
will hug you like around your lower back and like not
yes.
touch your neck.
Yeah, if anybody sees this, anytime, because I am a hugger, and that's one thing I really have a hard time with not doing,
Yeah,
because it's just, I'm a hugger. But there's been a few times. One time a gal got me, and if you feel my neck, you can actually see one of the screws, but it's pretty intense. But she hugged me, and I kind of still to this day wonder if she didn't do this on purpose, because she has one of those vibes where like she's your friend, but always giving you digs, and that kind of person, you don't know if they're really. She had one of them
Mhm.
big old gold watches on, and she went like, and I was like, ow, ow, and she just got me bad. That was one of the worst. That
oh,
hurt
Oof,
bad. That was bad.
oof.
So no, I
yeah.
do, I do hug, but if people can get me around the waist, it's probably better.
Yeah, gentle, low hugs for Auntie. Okay, guys.
I'll send you guys my scan so you can kind of see what.
Yeah, please.
Oh,
I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to my son had a bone marrow transplant, so I just like looking at scans and stuff. I find everything fascinating.
oh,
So yeah, send me anything.
yeah, I'll send it to you. I had to have a transfusion during the first surgery too, or was that the second surgery? It was either the anterior or posterior. I can't remember. And then I had to have a pick line into my heart, so my poor hubby had to do the
Yeah.
injections. It was a lot. It was honestly, I never thought that I would live a day where I didn't remember every second of that pain and everything. But I've grown, and time heals things. Like when you have a baby, you think I'm never having another one of those, and then eventually you forget the
I
pain of
actually
labor.
I want to know what your morning routine is like. Like, do you have like a self-worth practice when you wake up, and like are there rituals that you do to like stay positive, or like what's your morning look like?
I it's so silly. Well, no, I guess it's not silly. My mom bought me the coolest picture of Jesus that's that little 8-year-old girl drew. That's like, the most realistic of him. And it's still in the plastic around the frame. Every morning I wake up and I say, "Good morning, Yeshua." And if I were to grab it right now, it's so funny. And I give him a kiss, but I also do that before I go to bed. And so there's a corner on the plastic that's got, I don't know how many lip gloss. He's kind of like, I do. And then I start to pray, and I have a really great husband who, after my surgeries and then my cancer, saw how busy I was with work and was worried. My surgeon even said an aggressive hug could slip your C2. So he got his real estate license, and we own a bar and a welding company, and like he wasn't busy enough, but he wanted to protect me. So now I really just work from home, and I TikTok from home and everything. So I don't have a lot of time in the car just to be safe. So when you see me with no makeup and in my bed head, I oftentimes do that till about 1 o'clock and just do all my work, and some
I'm
of my
glad.
TikToks like that. But I like to sing. I'm a singer. And so
Me
I
too.
find, yeah, I heard you sing. Oh, you've got a beautiful voice.
I would love to hear you sing.
Oh, we should sing together one day, babe.
I would love
Les
that.
Mis is one of my favorites. I'll bust that out in the morning. I feel like when you sing, it just, I don't know, it raises your vibration. It brings so much joy,
It makes my heart
and so
happy.
it
Yeah,
does.
like
And
warmness.
that was one cool thing with this type of surgery. Your vocal cord is right there, and I thought to myself, this man has already taken all of my joy. I had 3 horses. I was a hunter. I would be in the hills all the time.
Mhm.
I was a certified scuba diver. I was an animal. He took all of that away from me, but my singing was what I had left. I can fish and I can sing. That's it. And my surgeon was explaining the very real risk of that being gone. We actually paid an ENT to stand in for 8 hours and guard my vocal cords, because once that gets damaged, you're done. You can't get it back. And he did. So I actually was able to hit notes I couldn't hit before. Oh, I was like, yay. So I sing a lot.
I ripped
Cool.
my vocal cords on a can I say should I say smoking apparatus, and when I was 19, It was a big, tall thing. Anyway,
Oh, I gotcha.
I ruined my voice.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, I am like a contralto now, so I sing and I speak much lower than I used to. So
I
interesting.
didn't know you could do that
You
on
can
one of
do a
those
lot of
things.
things.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
I coughed a little too much, and I coughed up blood, and it was the whole thing. And it was
Oh,
not.
babe.
Yeah, it was bad. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just a baby. Anyways,
Oh, it's just
um,
oh.
but
Well, you have a
I'm
beautiful.
so glad to know that you sing, and I now I want to hear you sing. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I keep promising my followers I will sing for them.
Oh,
And then
please.
my pain has just been so bad since coming back from Arizona that
Hmm.
it's, I don't know, the past couple of weeks I haven't really been posting an awful lot. I've kind of, I don't know,
You can
I've
take
not been
breaks.
sleeping. Yeah,
You,
I keep telling myself it's okay to take a break or two, you know,
it,
and I'm having a hard time sleeping. Are you guys? All of my followers are saying the same thing. The past 2 weeks, nobody's sleeping.
Hmm.
I have
I,
insomnia, so I always have a hard time sleeping.
I have a question. I have a question because you're talking about God and Jesus and stuff like that. Now, it wasn't always like that for you, from what I understand.
no, well, I mean, God and Jesus have
So
always
you
been
used
there.
to. Now, I don't know. I don't know how much, but I'm going to ask some questions, and if you
Sure.
don't want to answer them, that's fine.
Oh,
But
I'm an open book.
did you do tarot cards, or I heard that you were a medium or something like that. Now, Lindsay's fascinated over that stuff, but Lindsay
That's
also
why I
didn't know
followed you.
that Jesus' name is also Jesus Christ. She didn't know that either. So, but she's kind of fascinated about it. So I
Yep.
want to
Yeah.
know, this is the part about the too naughty if you're a Christian person. The
Oh,
too
I love
naughty
it.
about being a medium or what? Can you explain that? Go back there
Yeah,
for us
absolutely.
from that.
I had been a psychic clairvoyant medium since I was 4. I've been able to
Okay,
see spirits.
what's a psychic clairvoyant medium?
So I'm clairvoyant clairaudient, but it's just too much to say. Psychic clairvoyant clairaudient medium, it got a little too much. Clairaudient means you can hear, clairvoyant means you can see. So
Oh,
I can see spirits since I was a little girl. I was the very, very, very real deal, kind of spooky, even to my own self, kind of psychic. I've helped local police here solve a couple of missing persons and a couple of murders. Yeah,
I did
yeah.
not know that. I need to talk to you about the book I'm writing. Carry on.
Okay. Yeah, I got you, babe. I have, oh, I'd say easily 2 to 3 spirits in my house every day. And they wouldn't be ones that, I typically know or anything. But my kids, my husband have been so used to it. I always explain it to people when I see a spirit. It's almost like you're in your kitchen. You thought you locked your front door and you got your music up and you're not expecting anybody to come over. And then you turn around and your best friend is standing there. It startles you just because you're not expecting it. That's how I would react when I'd see a spirit. So anybody who knew me or has lived with me, they knew, and they'd be like, "Oh, what does it look like? What do they want?" And then I was doing a lot of free readings on TikTok. I never once charged for a reading. Never, never, never in my life, because I've always been a Christian, and God's always been my God. Jesus has always been my Lord and Savior. There's never, even during the pain, I remember my husband during those episodes with my failed fusion. He saw me in the garage, and I was crying to God, and he said, and my husband's a Christian too, but he was frustrated, and it was hard for him to see me hurt like that. And he
oh man.
said, "You really still believe in a God that would let you go through that?" And I looked at him, I said, "No, yeah, God's got me. God's not putting me through this. He's getting me through it." And so even during the darkest of my days, God has always been my God. Never once would I turn from him. But I never understood that being a medium and being a Christian couldn't go hand in hand. I had a lot of people tell me that on TikTok. I'm like, no, this is a God given gift. I know because it's accurate, it's real, it's there. And I never believed that it wasn't okay to do both until October of 2022. I got the very clear message right when I woke up: stop, stop. And
I
I knew
remember.
immediately it meant talking to spirits. But I thought, because my best friend of 25 years has or had terminal cancer. Oh, hold on. Dang it. That's hard to talk about. So I thought it was my spirit guides trying to protect me from getting any messages about Andy I wasn't ready for. Now that wasn't it. But at the same time, the same morning, I thought I'm going to buy a new Bible and strengthen my already beautiful relationship with God. But I'm going to get an easier to read Bible because I'd never really read the Bible. It was too confusing. And I wanted to buy one of those new international versions where it's easy, It wasn't but a few days after that, God showed me, hey, kiddo, that has not been a gift from me. Those have been demons the whole time. And when God shows you something like that, it sticks with you. I used to use dowsing rods, the little copper, and I would do that on lives. And it basically, if you don't know what it is, they're two sticks you hold, and then they pivot. And for a yes question, it would cross, and for no, it would go open. Literally, I was laying in bed when God gave me, and now I do have the gift of vision. So I have visions and prophetic dreams. God told me, all those other gifts, like what I would call being psychic, knowing, that's just the wrong word for what God's always given to me. It's discernment, So I still get those. In fact, my gifts of vision and discernment, which again would have been prophecy, or not prophecy, sorry, premonition, are actually way stronger now that I've given up the spirit communication. But I was laying there, and all of a sudden I closed my eyes and I saw a vision I was not ready for. It was me in in fact, I was wearing the shirt in the vision. Whoa, that's weird. That's really
No,
weird.
it's not. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
that kind of freaked me out. But I was
What
standing
what
there
freaked you
with
out?
my,
What freaked you out? Your
oh,
eye
I
was
just realized in my vision I'm wearing the same
okay.
shirt
All right,
that
that's
happened
what
that
I
same,
thought. But you were digging
huh?
at your
Conscious.
eye, and I thought something fell out or something.
Oh no. No, but so in my vision, I'm standing there. I saw myself with the dowsing rods, which are about that long, maybe that long,
Yeah.
12 inches. And but to see yourself in a vision, it's kind of different. It's kind of shaky to make. I don't even know how to explain it. And all the things I've seen in my life, that was a weird one to see myself. But I was holding it totally oblivious to the fact that there was this towering, wretched looking demon. It was so close to like the Jeepers Creepers looking kind of demon, but just looking
Yeah.
down at me. But his fingers had the tips and was maneuvering it right in front of me. And I'm just oblivious,
Like, gosh.
yeah, that was enough for me to say, ooh. But yeah, I realized,
Okay, I'm driven.
I think we're good with this. So I denounced being a psychic clairvoyant medium and gave my
I
entire life to
respect it.
Yeshua and Yahweh. And life has been so much better ever since.
I'm so sorry, but what is Yahshua?
Oh,
Yahweh?
yeah. Yeshua is Jesus' real name. And
So
Yahweh
it's
is God's real name.
is that a maybe this is a different conversation for another time, but is that a different language or is that like a different religion
He
or
It's Hebrew. So it's very interesting to find out the letter J for like Jesus didn't even
Mhm.
exist back then. So you got to be kind of careful too with like a lot of the things that we've been taught. This is like you said, it might be a whole nother show, but
Mhm.
Satan has deceived us on so many different things. Like Jesus's birthday is not December 25th. We know that. We know that 100%. In fact, that's actually a pagan holiday of Saturnalia that honors Satan. So different entities like, I don't know, the Vatican, um, do these things, and they put out these falsities. But the letter J didn't even exist when Jesus or when Yeshua was alive. So Yeshua is actually his name. Isn't that neat? So
Yeah.
yeah, and
I'm
I lived my whole life. Oh, my whole life. My husband can attest to you. Even as a little girl, I remember this. I always had just anxiety, constant panic attacks, and that sharp stabbing pain in your solar plexus where you're just like, I can't breathe, constantly. And I could never figure out what was wrong. I would wake up in the middle of the night and my husband's like, what's wrong? What are you panicking about? I'm like, I don't know, but I can't, the minute I denounced being a medium and I gave my, it's gone. I cannot explain out of anything and everything in my life, if it was worth it, that alone, I can't explain to you how peaceful my life is now. I never knew I could even exist like this. I had no idea.
like
It's
all of the
incredible.
anxiety
All
just
of it
lifted,
gone,
gone.
gone completely. completely. My husband to this day, he's just like, I can't believe this. I'm looking at a totally different woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I could have. So, wow. That's
Yeah.
fascinating.
That in itself alone makes me know that everything that God I believe in is absolutely true. And everybody asks, well, do you still see spirits? No, they just poof. I kind of had like a existential crisis because who I had been my whole life and everything I knew, I threw away 4 big garbage bags full of new age things that I had had for my life. My house burned down in 2005. So some of the things like my tarot cards that survived, those were, going to be hard to get rid of because it had such a connection. No, not at all. 4 bags, I threw it all away. I got rid of it all. Yeah, it was just so profound. But I also see now, like looking back, the things that I had to go through with my neck and the cancer, and even, you know, making the very humbling video. Hey guys, I was wrong because I have so many little girls that look up to me, and they looked to Auntie for advice, and I'd been teaching them superstitions and this and that, all these things accidentally and inadvertently. I would never in a million years do something on purpose to lead anybody away from God. I never would think that that would do that, but I had to look back and realize, ooh, that's exactly what you were doing. So I made the very humbling, difficult video, but the most important video of my life. And I said, guys, I was wrong. I screwed up. I was manipulated and lied to and used by the devil. And everything I've taught you, I'm sorry, but I was wrong. And I thought, oh, you're going to get canceled. I didn't care because my salvation was in the bag, but that took a quick back seat to the salvation of the millions of people that followed me. And at the time of my being born again in October, I had 1.8 million followers. And I remember telling friends, well, I'm probably going to get canceled, lose all my followers, but I don't care because I would lose everything in this world as long as I knew the people that followed me didn't lose their salvation. I have to make sure they're okay. And one morning I woke up and I got the discernment, look at your following. And I was like, oh, here we go. And it was at 1.9. And I'm like, oh,
Wow.
wow. We went, okay, that was unexpected. And now we're at 2.2.
Good for you. Good for
Awesome.
So
you.
now I kind of see too how God might have allowed my psychic premonitions and my all of that to get me to the platform that I'm at just in the nick of time, because I'm telling you, this is the end of this is end of days kind of stuff going on, for God to say, all right, you got the platform now, no more psychic stuff. This is not me. You need to change your ways and make better use of your platform. And it is incredible how many, this will be forever my favorite compliment in life. How many beautiful people say, Auntie, because of you, I found God. I like cry when I think about it. It's so beautiful to hear. I didn't realize how many people didn't have God growing up. My mom and dad are amazing people. They're the most incredible people on this planet, but they've always given us God. I didn't realize how many people didn't have that. And so, yeah, it's pretty neat that I've had thousands and thousands and thousands of people get to God or get right with God. And the other really cool thing, when I made that video in October, or I think it was November, no, it was October, when I made that video as a psychic denouncing it, do you know how many people, psychics, witches, new age, tarot readers, that commented the same thing saying, no way, I got the exact same message at the exact same time. Stop. God was
No.
pulling us all out at the exact same time, saving
Wow.
us just in the nick of time. Isn't that the most profound, incredible thing ever?
I
That
don't think I've had
that blew my
this
mind.
many chills on my body for this elongated amount of time. Like since we started, I have like a zing of energy going through me, and I feel goosebumps everywhere. I don't know what to
Oh,
think,
I
but
love it. I love
you're a
it.
miraculous human.
Oh, thank you, sissy. Thank you. Yeah, I look at a lot of the things that God's gotten me through and the things that I've survived, and I see the testimony in it all, and I just think, wow, what an incredibly humbling honor that God would trust me to get through all of that. Because those are just a few of them, and there's some really yucky ones that I've been through. But the important thing is you can't let it change you. You can't let it make you bitter. You've got to make it better. And yeah, people are like, "How are you always smiling when you hurt so much?" I'm like, well, if I'm not smiling, it's not going to make me feel any better, you know.
Yeah. I always tell
So
people
true.
it takes more effort to frown. You know, it takes more muscles in your face to frown.
That's
Like
right.
it's a choice of
100% right.
yeah. So if
I
people
had
ask
this
me that,
lady. Yeah. I always get massages whenever we go out of town. And this lady, I'll never forget her. I think we were in Park City. And she came in, she reminded me of the gal off of, is it 51st Dates with Adam
Drew
Sandler
Barrymore,
and Drew Barrymore? Yeah. Remember the lady that worked with him at the marina and she had the braids, the like Russian or German lady, Olga or whatever her name was? She had the braids, big, I think like big kind of manly thing. This lady walked in, she's like, just like her. And she was from Romania, I think. Anyway, so she's getting in there and she's doing my massage. And this woman was a very tough woman. Anyways, about 20 minutes into my massage, she stopped and she said, I'm sorry. And she was crying. And I looked up and I'm like, she goes, I have never felt anybody's back or neck like I am feeling on you. She said, this is pure cement. How is it that you are living, let alone you came in here smiling and just beaming and so happy? She goes, I've never felt yeah, her. That looks just like the lady. But she said, I've never felt anybody's neck or back this bad to where I can't even feel your bones. I can't, it's just concrete. But you're still smiling. And I said, yeah, you gotta just be grateful for what you got.
Auntie, that's
Right?
amazing. That's
mm,
amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. That's
Amazing.
good. And obviously I got a purpose here in this world or I would have been offed a long time ago, right?
Right.
I mean, probably like at that one point on the table. Yeah.
You know, oh, that hurt. Why did I do
Please
Um,
be
And
careful.
a lot
Be
of times
gentle.
I forget and I'll do stupid stuff like that and then I'll regret it for like a week. But yeah, no, that would have been the time I probably would have gotten taken out.
No, you're meant to
yeah.
be here for sure.
Yeah. Yep. I got to remember that every day. I can't let God down, you know? But I
Yeah.
hope to be an inspiration for people. I do. If anything, one of the toughest things I had to teach people was to forgive. And I refuse to be a hypocrite. So the elephant in the room here is, okay, what about your surgeon? And I finally did. I forgave him. And
Oof.
he doesn't even know. I haven't even spoken to the guy since, before my internal decapitation. And I'm not even here to say if he's even sorry or not, but I have forgiven him. And I had to realize that was a part of my life that I had to go through to get me to where I'm at now for God's purpose. Ultimately, I kind of feel sorry for the guy because he ended up being the tool that God had to use. Um, but at the end of the day, I need to probably get a hold of him and thank him, not just forgive him, because if it wasn't for him and because of those mistakes and because of everything that played out, I
Yeah.
would not be here, like I said today, to help so many other people find God.
Yeah.
So
Definitely you're touching the world. That's for sure.
I
You know.
hope so.
Yeah.
In such a
Big.
powerful way.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's not all for naught, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
You have a
You know,
remarkable, beautiful, and very heavy story, and I'm just like in awe. And I just want to thank you for opening up and sharing so much of it. But I
Absolutely.
feel like I don't ever want to stop talking to you though. Like now I want to know more and I want more and I want more.
Well, you
Santa, do
can
you
get my
feel
number for
that?
Sam.
well, that I just really wanted to say, I hope you and Lindsay connect. I hope
I do
Lindsay
too.
and you
You know,
connect
this is
because I think because of the depths of the stuff that you've been through, that Lindsay's amazing, fascinating, and what she could learn from you
and
would
vice
be.
versa. She is fascinating. I love her.
Mhm.
No, I think that would be incredible. But how funny is this? You might be actually an answer to a prayer I just sent to God the other night because I do. I have two books that I definitely need written. But I'm so OCD, ADHD that I I'm a perfectionist. So trying to get 3 lines written, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, it'll never
It's
happen if I leave it to my own devices.
It's so hard. And a couple of friends and I, sometimes we body double and like we'll just write at the same time, like on a FaceTime or whatever, and like set a timer and do like 15 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. And we get so much more done that way. It's really helpful. And you would think it wouldn't be because but you're not talking, you're just there. You know what I mean? So we could always
Oh,
try that. Yeah.
I gotta tell you the coolest thing.
I just
I'm
love her.
sorry. I have little tears in my eyes a little bit.
I want to know
During
why
cheer,
you got emotional just a minute ago. What was that
I
about?
I just
What's in
remembering
your
everything I've been through.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am a
Heavy.
little miracle. Sometimes it hits me.
You
Yeah,
are a big miracle. There's nothing little about it.
Oh, she's a
yeah, it is.
she was tiny, but she is a big miracle. Yeah, a
You are
tiny
little, but
big
so is she.
miracle.
Tiny gal, big miracle. um, yeah. So when we were at Cheer Choice Awards during the award event, how cool is this? I wasn't even thinking about it, and it literally landed on my heart. The title of my book, and I was
Oh,
like, "That's how God works." You know, like you get these boom out of nowhere in the middle of Cheer Choice Awards. I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm watching the show and it literally hit me. And so my husband and I went out after to get dinner and I said, "Babe, I think I got the book title finally. And I've been thinking of this for years." And he's a tough critic, right? And um, I told him and he was like, "Oh my God, I love that." And I couldn't have done it alone,
hmm.
meaning God got me through it all. What do you think?
Well, I is it ethics? You can't tell the title of the book yet, or you don't do that. I don't want to
Oh,
ask you.
let's cut that out.
I feel
But
like with book titles, it's one of those things where like if you're not agented and if you're self-publishing, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's
Um,
cut that out because then as soon as I said it, I thought, "Ooh, what if somebody steals that?"
yeah, we'll cut it. That's fine.
I didn't hear it.
Okay,
But
let's do this. Ready? And
Hmm.
then the book title hit me. And you want to know what it was?
what?
Wait till the book comes out.
Yeah, yes.
Perfect.
I have not told very many people a book title that my mom had, because she has passed on, and I am going to write her story. And I have only told like 2 or 3 people what the title is, and I love it so much, and it's so sacred.
Oh, I love
When you
that.
and I will share it with you when we're off, so that you can have a little piece of me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Sissy. Oh, I'm so excited to chat with you more.
Oh yeah, we
I was
will.
so grateful to see Santa that night too. Because and honestly, out of anywhere I could have seen you, I'm glad it was there because the masquerade party had me just I don't know who anybody was, right? But
Ah.
you know Santa. You know Santa when you see him. So I was so grateful.
It was such an honor to meet you too. Such an
Oh, it
honor.
was so neat meeting you. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful that God put our paths together. That was neat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was fun.
We're gonna do some other things too. You wait and see.
Yeah,
I
Gonna-
can't
you just
wait.
let me know.
let's do some stuff. That'll be for
I
sure.
am elf size, you know. So
Perfect. Perfect. Would you wear these for me? I don't know if you could
what?
tell.
What are you showing?
I
Oh, little.
actually might be able to fit that.
Huh?
Yeah. Yes. Just say yes, because they'd be cute on
Yes,
you.
yes, okay.
That
I
would
have
be.
the elf ears too.
Uh,
Boom.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, oh.
nice.
There's a reason my hair is always down.
Wow.
We had an elf
Nice.
just walk by. Did you see the elf
Yes, that
in the
was
background? Lindsay had an elf walk by.
Oh my
it.
god.
He's my little
There
elves
he is.
here.
Hi, little elf. Hi, bud.
He's busy.
They've been out walking while we've been chatting.
How's his head, Lindsay? He bumped his head.
He's got a big goose egg, but he's doing
What
good.
happened? What happened?
He ran ahead of himself while he was looking behind, and he tripped and he
Ooh.
hit his TV stand like a
Oh.
bit. like the
Oh,
corner
that's the worst.
corner, but it was a big boom. But he was totally fine. We brought him to
That's
the
the
ER, and
worst because whenever you're running that way, that you're always happy, and then boom, that
they didn't
sucks.
even scan him. They just checked his eyes and ears, and they were like, "He's good. Like he was happy and laughing, and he has no symptoms of anything, so he's good, and he's been great today." So
Oh, okay.
He had
yeah,
quite
this
a
isn't
nod.
like an Auntie Colette situation.
Oh my god! Check his
I'm so
noggin.
sorry to
Stat.
laugh. Um, I don't mean to laugh. I'm just like, I'm still in awe of
No,
everything you went.
are you
I
kidding
mean,
me?
no, this is absolutely crazy. I had
Yeah, it's
no
like one of
idea.
those that you would watch on like a documentary of like, what happened
Right.
in, the doctor's office, and then this
Right?
happened, and then this happened, and then just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, it did. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and this woman is
No
smiling.
joke. That is exactly how my life felt. It was like, and then it
Mhm.
was just, it didn't stop there. It was more stuff, and I was just like, what is going on here? I was
Hmm.
diagnosed with a chondrosarcoma 2 years ago, which is another rare, aggressive, fatal cancer in my thigh, a
A
third of my
different one?
femur. Yeah, but the good thing is I've had a bunch of things like that where they're telling me, okay, you're gonna lose your leg, you can't fly, you're gonna, all this horrible stuff. We went to Costa Rica, and I had to use a cane. Well, then had my followers pray and pray and pray. We had scans, and the surgeon in Beverly Hills at Cedar Sinai say, Colette, I I'm here to tell you now. Looking at the scan, this is an inchondroma, which is a completely benign tumor that you can live with. Just like
Oh,
when I had my breast lump done last month. Yeah. Or last September, they found 2 lumps in my breast, and I worked for a surgeon that did breast lumps and breast cancer. Never did I work for a doctor that worked with bones, though. That would have been helpful because I would have seen what was going on in my neck. But
yeah.
when they scanned my breast, I saw the first two. I was like, man, those are okay. When they got to the third one on the ultrasound, I burst into tears. It was cancer. Yeah, I could tell by the scan. And the gal was looking at me like, oh, shoot, you know what you're looking at. And
Yeah.
I had all my followers praying and praying. And my surgeon was so funny when she came in. She goes, okay, Colette, here's the plan. I said, don't worry. It's going to be fine. It's going to be benign. She's like, okay. She came in. I said, no, trust me. I've already given it to God. This has happened with my leg. This has happened with this, that. And I said, trust me. God's got me. You're going to come in after my surgery and you're going to say, I don't know why or how, but that is not the same tumor we saw, and it's benign. And she's like, okay. So, anyways, she came in from after the surgery and I was in recovery, and she's like, her face was like, and I said, you ready to tell me now? And she's like, Colette, no, like, I can't explain this. The tumor we saw is not the tumor I pulled out. I said, I know, because God is good.
Uh,
That is my goal.
Yes,
Yep.
woo!
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. I think I made
one,
that surgeon, who I think probably was atheist, a very big Christian that day. It was
yeah,
really neat.
yeah.
It was
I
pretty
have
cool.
more
So God's got me.
things
Um,
going through. You make
It's
me
just
feel like
the original diagnosis time that really gets me bad until the whole prayers kick in. But I have a long list of those medical testimonies where everything looked very bleak and fatal, and then it was completely benign. So we're good. But your head comes off your body, you're like, "Peh, whatever. Tumor in my leg. Peh." I'm like Wonder Woman. Ping, ting. I don't care. After your head comes off your body, you really, nothing can
indestructible.
phase you.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing phases you after that.
it just takes me. I'm thinking of the stuff that I've been through. I'm a recovering alcoholic 12 years ago.
Me
That's
too.
one thing. Really?
Good job. Me too, Santa. Since 2018.
Oh, good
Good
for
for you.
you. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine's my sobriety date is 11/11/11.
Oh, that's
Nice. Oh, I
Yeah,
love that.
that's
that's
that
a beautiful.
cool?
That's way cool.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
love that. Good
It's
job.
and the other part I wanted to say that is that I was told to go home and get your affairs in order, that you're going to die. You're going cancer. I had cancer. To go home
Oh,
and get your affairs in order. It was stage 3 at that time. They were waiting for stage 4. and
Oh
I
my
had
gosh.
skin cancer. And they cut a big old hole out of my back to cut around the mole that it was in, and then it got into my lymph nodes. Right after I had my
Wow.
surgery, they found it in my lymph nodes. So they said, "Hey, bad news. Go home. You know you have about a year probably before it starts going into your soft tissue, which is brain, liver, lung, stuff like that." And that was 35 years ago.
Oh,
Wow.
bless you. See, you.
Why I say that is I know for sure God prepared me for this moment today to meet you,
Oh,
hear your story, and have the confidence that reignites. No, that's not the word. It just it gives me confirmation. It gives me confirmation on how real God is in my life. When I hear your story, I get to apply it to my story too, because
I love that.
I should have, I should have died, but God was going, no, no, I want you here for this time. And now, Colette, between us, actually, between all three of us, we're hitting over 6 million people out there that we're having influence on. Over
I
6,
love that.
and
See, God had a purpose for you.
we shouldn't have made it. We shouldn't be here.
No, no,
But God,
by no means.
but then God, but then
But
God.
then God.
Yeah.
Amen.
And I mean that
Is
with everything in me.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. You are a survivor. So are you, Lindsay. I love that. And like you said, how many people are we touching right now because God saw something in us and he
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm not done yet.
Mm-hmm. So when you
Isn't
say
that
that
neat?
it's so cool that our paths cross, but it's not by coincidence. It's not by
The cross.
coincidence. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that neat? Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
love that. Aw, you're going to make me tear up again.
Well, good. We've
I
had
just
several
want to like,
people
at what
cry,
point are
mostly
the
me.
tinglies gonna go away? Like, am I just gonna tingle for the rest of the night or the week or the year or like what's going on?
You have a tingle?
I've had tingles this whole time.
Oh, like goosebumps. I was like, is it a nerve thing?
It's no more than goosebumps. It's not just goosebumps. It's almost like electricity. It's very strange to explain. It's like
I've
just
actually heard people say that before. Yeah, that's.
maybe it's just
Oh,
me picking up on your energy. I don't know, but it's something. It's
I
there.
love it. I love it. I love it so much. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you guys asked me to come on here. This has been so much fun.
Good.
Oh, this has
Good.
been amazing, and thank you so much for like sharing so much and being so open.
Absolutely. That's one thing I promise God. I will always be an open book. You know, I he didn't put me through it for me to tuck it away, you know?
For anybody out there that's listening that's going through a hard time, how can they not listen to this and know that there's light at the end of the
Yeah.
tunnel? You know, this ain't over yet, and you're gonna get through it, and you can keep
Yeah.
going.
And when we start to look at our struggles and our sufferings and our traumas, less like bad things and more like incredibly humbling, beautiful things that God has trusted us to go through so that one day we can save somebody else because of the story, I think
Right.
it makes the struggle a little bit easier.
Colette,
Yeah.
See the purpose in it.
I would like to hear some of your stories from your followers. What changed their
Yeah.
life? What are
Oh, I
some?
would love that.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
would
we
like.
should have some of my followers. Yeah, there's been so many people that have emailed me and messaged me over the years that, and oh, one gal, she came up to me at Cheer Choice the first year we went, so 3 years ago. Um, and we were at the pool party, and my husband was in the pool, and I was sitting on the edge, and I don't drink, and this gal comes up, and she was pretty tipsy, and she was cute. She was in her 20s, and she turned around, she goes, "Hannah, it's realtor chick," because at the time I was still realtor chick, right? I wasn't auntie yet. And I was like, or wait, was it? No, I was auntie at that time. Never mind, I was auntie because I had just changed it to Auntie Colette.
Did
I
you fall
think
again?
I was doing my advice videos and teaching people, things I wish I knew when I was 20 and all the advice stuff that I was doing. Anyway, she had a very prominent scar down her chest, so I knew she had had an open heart surgery. And she said, Auntie, can I tell? I had to, I don't know, I guess it doesn't matter. I was still me.
Right.
But she said, I want to tell you this story so bad. I said, yeah, sure, babe. What? She said, I had open heart surgery. I said, yeah, I see that, babe. Are you doing okay? She said, I was in a very dark place. And I said, oh, and she goes, no, like literally, I was in my room, would not turn on the TV, wouldn't turn on the light. I had quit my job. I had quit school. And on this day, I couldn't do it anymore. I was going to commit suicide. And I was like, oh my God. And she said, but something right before I was about to do it, something said, open your phone. She said, I opened my TikTok and there you were. And
Yeah.
something about your video just drew me in. And this was literally the 6, 7 months where all I was doing was giving life advice, wisdom, things like that, inspirational things. And she said, I downloaded all of your videos and I started watching them like Netflix. And she said, I have been so excited to somehow get a hold of you to tell you because I am going to cry. She said, because of you, not only did I get out of my bed and turn on the light, but I went back and I got my job. And she goes, and Auntie, because of you, I went back to school. And I was
Oh,
like, that is cool. That one is neat. That one actually I had my husband tearing up. That was
that,
pretty neat.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something very surreal about knowing somebody was just about to leave this world and you were able to reach them.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm such a big boob.
No,
Oh,
that's an
no,
incredible,
that's beautiful. That's
incredible
beautiful.
turnaround. It is. It's
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
gift to have to give
Yep.
others. It's huge.
Yeah. Because I've been there. I think everybody's been there. Everybody's been to that point where you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. And you think about the people that didn't have us or didn't have somebody catch them in time. So that's why we do what we do. We want to make sure that nobody else feels that alone or that sad or that hopeless ever again. So,
Mhm.
yeah, next time you guys, or if you're going through things right now, if you're struggling and you don't see the light ahead, or if the pain is just too much, look at it this way. It's not suffering when you see it as a purpose. And someday you and what you're going through right now, your testimony might save somebody else's life.
Boom. Huge, great wisdom. Real
Yeah.
good wisdom because
You.
it is the truth. It is the truth.
Thank you.
So Colette, where you're at now, what you've been through, what's going on as far as your TikTok is going. Is there other things that you're going to be doing? Are you just kind of where are you at in your social media and how to make a difference in more people's lives? Is there anything that you're doing?
Yes, so we are in the process of getting my podcast started. We're excited about that. And the book, I'm hoping Lindsay will help me. Am I allowed to say podcast? No, I don't think I should say my podcast name yet, should I?
Well, of course you can.
No, wait. Because
No?
you know how
Okay,
many people
Lindsay
like
knows your
make
stuff
fake
better. What?
I'm gonna wait. Because you know how many people have made fake
Just
Auntie Colette
you
accounts?
you have one, but save your title for now. Just
Yeah.
my two
Because if
cents.
somebody
Drop.
steals my
So
podcast name, I'd be so heartbroken.
what's the podcast? Can you talk about? Okay, we'll cut this out if you
Oh
don't.
yeah, the podcast?
What's
It
it
will
going to be?
be Oh, it's going to be a little bit of everything. It's going to be, of course, it's going to be God and biblical prophecies. Got to talk on that. Conspiracy theories and just everything everything that is me. It'll just be right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the book. Hopefully, Lindsay can help me with that. That's the book I want to get out right now. Is literally just kind of my first book with my testimonies. You know, the stories of the things that I've survived. But then there's another really incredible book, but I don't want to talk about that quite yet because I have a hard time talking about that, but it's going to be amazing. And then I have a YouTube channel that right now my assistant just kind of uploads my TikToks to it, but TikTok's kind of my life. I love my TikTok. I do.
What
Yeah.
is your
I have
So,
YouTube
Facebook and Instagram.
so how
Huh?
can people follow you? How can people follow you? What are Go ahead and tell your names of where
Um,
you would like people to follow you.
on Instagram. Oh, that's a good question. Instagram, Facebook. There's a fake Facebook page that's making me so mad. They've got 16,000 followers. Ooh, mad face. Mad face. That makes me so mad. So don't follow that yahoo. Oh, I sound like my mom.
Love the little snort. Super cute.
That's what I was going to say. Oh my gosh. That happens to
Oh
all
God.
of us. I have somebody on TikTok that records my lives and does that with
Oh, that's
10,
cute. I love that.
tens of thousand followers and gifters. Ah,
Aw.
yeah,
Yeah, so on my YouTube, it is Auntie it's linked on my TikTok. Facebook, Instagram, Auntie Colette, and I'm on Clapper too, Auntie Colette. Yeah.
cool.
But I'm excited. The podcast is gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be fun. Will you guys come on it?
I would love
You come
to.
on your,
Yeah.
oh, I'd be honored.
Oh, I
Yeah.
would love that. That'd
Yeah,
be
For
so
sure.
much fun.
okay. Count me in.
Got it. Yeah. Hell yeah. Heck yeah. Sorry.
Oh God, you're fine. Hell
Hell,
yeah.
she's like, oh God, you're fine. And I'm like, what do I say? What do I not say? Like, I'm
Oh
always
no,
worried.
oh God. That's
Oh,
the other thing with me. I'm still the most chill person in the world. Please, please. I'm honestly, I think at this point, one of the reasons God has me doing this is I make Christian cool, man. I'm not,
you do. You
I
do,
love
Colette. You make Christian cool.
I
that's
do.
I
No,
love
I'd
that.
never want anybody walking on eggshells. It's still me. It's still who I've always been. No, you're totally fine, Sissy. I'm just still me, you know?
No, I
I
love
don't say the MRF word as much as I used to. In fact, I don't say that anymore. God gave me some conviction on my cussing, but hell, I say that.
this one's okay. This one's all right.
Loophole.
So what?
It's a noun. It's a place. It's a proper noun. Loophole. MRFer is not on the map anywhere though.
Juice.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you for following. Thank you, Colette, so much for being a part of this. I imagine this is just going to blow up. God's going to do some amazing stuff through this podcast that we're doing here. And I thank you, thank you, thank you. Lindsay, thank you so much. And don't forget to follow. Don't forget to subscribe. Go follow us there. And hey, give us a like and make a little comment, would you? Okay, thank you.
Love you guys.
Bye, guys.